Hi, and welcome to Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about people that have written to me about their dogs. Um, and just as a side note, dogs and cats are very aware of spirits. And if your animals are looking toward the ceiling, that is probably somebody that has crossed over and is visiting. If they're looking eye level, that is usually somebody that is earthbound. Okay, this is from Ned in Hawaii. Uh, Marianne, my dogs react to invisible presences. For even even playing with someone unseen by the rest of us. It went on for 15 minutes, after which she returned her attention to us. Though there had been no sense or negativity or fear. In fact, I always say that it's just families visiting. Am I right? You are 100% right. If the dog is playing with somebody, it is having fun, then it's probably somebody that has crossed over, especially since you don't feel anything. Because if the dog was that if the dog was playing with somebody, you would have a sense of there being something more than just somebody playing with the dog there. But, and if you think about it, is that it's usually going to be a family member that they knew that they're happy to see again, or in some cases, another dog that was a buddy of theirs that died before them. Sometimes they come back and play too. Okay, this one is from Dottie in New Jersey. One day I was in my kitchen and heard loud exhaling close to my stove. I have also felt something touching me when I am in the kitchen, especially in the same area. For any of you that have a dog, if you have a pair of shorts on and they come up and push their nose against you, you can tell their cold nose is against you. And that's not a ghost behind me, that's my cat looking out the window. Every time that happens, I get, oh my God, you have a ghost behind you. No, that's Bill. Okay. My dogs are crated when we're not home. They have always been crated. Since they were a puppy, they love their crates. They will even go in their crates, or they used to even go in their crates when we were home, just to rest and get away from everybody. Now they hate their crates. They whine. They don't want to go in there. They're trying to chew the wires. They're bashing themselves against the door. And then my daughter noticed that it looks like the one crate was kicked in. And really, that is a person, an earthbound person in your house that does not like your dogs. It makes me nuts. If these spirits didn't like dogs or animals when they're alive, they're not going to like animals when they're dead. It's the same thing. If they didn't like kids when they were alive, they're not going to be like kids when they're dead. Why don't they go to a house where there's no dogs or kids then? I've never understood that, because they're just mean people. And in this instance, I would say start smudging. And the other thing that I would say is I get the least expensive charm and put it on their collars, because that's the only way you're going to keep the ghost away from them. You got to get rid of the ghost. I mean, start smudging, start doing something. This one is from Katie in Illinois. Oh, this is interesting. Hi, Marianne. I work in a restaurant in a little town in Illinois. One morning when I arrived, we saw small chunks of dirt on two separate areas of the floor that looked like footprints of a person and many others that looked like dog paw prints. Apparently, the previous owners saw the same thing. We're in a line of old homes and buildings that were part of the Underground Railroad, so we're not alone in our tales. There are many others. Have you ever heard of animal evidence like this? Yes, I have. You can see footprints in mud, in dirt, in snow. Somebody just asked this morning on our Wednesday chat uh, if if the energy can do that. Yes, the energy from them can do that. And you can see scratches on doors. The dogs can do that. And old bones showing up. There was a lady that had boxers, and she liked to give them rawhides to chew. And they would chew them. They were two crazy boxers. They would chew them to a certain point, then they take them outside and bury them. Well, after 4 years, the dogs died, or 4 years had gone by, and all of a sudden, these half-chewed rawhides are ending up on the back steps. Boxers obviously have not crossed over. So, yes, animals can stay the same way that people can stay. Most of you know that my Bashan Major has been with me since he's died, way over 30 years now. And when I die, I'll just scoop them up and take them with me. This one is from Candy in Euclid. We have lived in our house over 20 years and have had problems with our dog seeing something in the living room. This usually happens at night right after we're in bed for the evening. One of our labs really was bothered the most, really has been bothered the most. She would growl, cry, go crazy on some nights. She would stare in the living room, crying and barking. On the steps, going upstairs to our bedroom, she would do the same thing. She would refuse to come up the stairs some nights. Now our Rottweiler has the problem seeing things. We always joke that there are ghosts that must come right at night after we settle in bed to watch TV. Because the house is quiet when somebody goes to bed at night, that's when most people start hearing noises that they don't seem to hear during the day. Well, cars are on the street, traffic is around, phones are ringing, TV is on, radio is playing. You don't pay attention. Animals are the same way. If they don't hear anything during the day because of house noises, then at night when the house is quiet, that's when they're going to see an earthbound ghost. And I'm guessing because your dogs are so unhappy with what they're looking at, that again, this is somebody that is earthbound that is definitely scaring your dogs. And start smudging, have the house blessed. Seriously, put charms on the dogs' collars. The idea of it the idea of hurting animals, that just doesn't fly with me. Okay, this one is from Terry in Pennsylvania. Do dogs really know if there are spirits in my house? I believe I have at least one spirit in my house. I have two Goldens, and the dogs bark constantly, and there's nothing going on, at least that I can see or tell. Also, my dogs, when they go out, are scared to death. Our yard is fenced in. The dogs have been house trained for years. They know when to go out. They will stand at the back door. And of course, if one goes out, then the other one has to go out too. And the yard is fenced. I don't have to watch them. But, I stand out there and I watch them sometimes. And it never fails. It seems as soon as one of the dogs get in the position to go potty, they jump like they just jump straight up in the air like somebody walked over and kicked them or poked them. Is this a ghost doing this? Unfortunately, it is. And they bark at him when they come in the house, and you've got Goldens. That's not a Rottweiler, it's not a Dobe, it's not a Shepherd, it's not something that is as aggressive as one of those other breeds. And definitely, and this is the worst kind of earthbound spirit, messing them when they're outside. It's like, really? Your dogs absolutely need to have a charm on their collar when they go out, only because you can't protect outside. You can smudge in a house, the four walls, it's contained. You can't smudge outside, it blows away. You're not going to achieve the same thing if you try to smudge outside. And that is the best thing that I would say to do. Hopefully your house is protected and this ghost can't come in, so it's just messing with your Goldens outside. So get charms on their collars so that they can be left alone. This one is from Eugene in Cincinnati. A few months ago, I came home from work and the door between the garage and the laundry room was locked. That was very odd since my wife was out of town on business and I never lock it. I attributed it to a senior moment when I left in the morning and I didn't think much more about it. About an hour later, I was sitting in my office at the other end of the house. All three of our dogs were within view of the bedroom across the hallway when I heard a dog walking in the kitchen. I distinctly heard the sound of nails on linoleum. At the same time, our old dog looked up and looked down the hallway at the kitchen. So obviously, the old dog heard it too. I thought that maybe my mother had come to visit with her dog, but there was nobody there. Periods when I would come home, and there are periods when I would come home and find the pantry door ajar. Other days, the door to the basement would be ajar. I always close it to make sure the dogs don't go down there and get into stuff that they shouldn't. One time I found the door to my hobby room in the basement was closed, which is usually left open. The last straw was when the garage door opener was moved off the dryer next to the shoes, which made it very hard to find. And because it was down on the floor, the dogs got into it and there were teeth marks all over it. What can I do? Well, it sounds like you've got a ghost and possibly a ghost dog in the house. Or, believe it or not, you could also hear claws or taps on linoleum or tile if you've got a ghost raccoon in the house. Their claws will make noise on that too. So I think you've got a ghost in the house I would need a call or come on Zoom, but I'm guessing that there is, and I think whoever this earthbound spirit is trying to get your dogs in trouble. Now, the other dog, just might be there. Maybe it's an older dog that died, one of your pets, but definitely this earthbound is trying to cause troubles for your dogs. This is from Jim in Mississippi. Hi, Marianne. They say dogs can see ghosts, and every time a new dog comes into our house, even the two dogs that never bark will start howling. Our dog sees something. When we leash him in the living room, his leash comes undone. When he comes into the bedroom, I go and leash him again, and again his leash comes undone. And this happens until I get upset and start cussing out whomever is doing it and tell him or her to get the H out of here, and so on. Let's stop right here, Jim. Stop doing that. You are only giving your earthbound ghost more energy by screaming and yelling at them. They need human energy to keep going. You're giving it to them in spades. Stop doing that. You're better off ignoring them. Uh, okay, my wife has seen a shadow of a dog from time to time walking by her room and tells it to leave. So here your wife is talking at them too. So it sounds to me like you probably do have a ghost dog in the house, but I think you have an earthbound spirit too. A ghost dog is not going to be able to get the leash off your live dog. I mean, that's just not going to happen. And so the ghost is trying to make you crazy and trying to use the dog to do it. Start smudging, get a charm for the dog. You don't want anybody messing with your dogs. So try doing that too. And, you can, all of you, you can come on Zoom. The next Zoom is on April 8th, and we have two a month, and that's when the next one is. Just a heads up, if you're watching this before Friday, the 1st of April, there is a new moon on April 1st for our time zone. Just be aware of that. And their second one is on April 30th. So we have two new moons in the month of April. So don't forget those. And everybody have a really good week. And we will talk to you next Wednesday. Thanks.